Hi, my name's Robin.
Hi, my name is Anna.
Hi there, my name's Hal Fulcher. We're really excited to be presenting to you NBRLY. So our idea NBRLY, spelled NBRLY, it's to connect with like-minded people in your vicinity for, as it says here, sports, nightlife, and everything in between. So here is the homepage of NBRLY. We have it hosted on Heroku. So as I said in the intro slide, it's for connecting with like-minded people. So as a new user, we'll sign up, get started. In this instance, I'm not going to be Hal Fulcher today. I'm going to be Angelina Jolie, of course. Who else? I'm not sure how old Angelina Jolie is, but we'll say she's 38. Her email address is angelinajolie at, oops, I can't type, gmail.com. Here you have to confirm your email. We have some nice form verification to check that all of this checks out. I have a photo of Angelina from the 1995 film Hackers, and the passwords, it's a secret. And here, so in the sign up form, you choose what interests you. For instance, if you like partying, cinema, maybe Angelina, I can imagine her doing some arts and crafts, live music, cooking, definitely some yoga, frisbee, and some bowling, and a short introduction. So, hi, I'm a successful television and film actress. So, create profile. Okay, so here we have a green, your profile was successful. Thank you very much. And here immediately you're redirected to our homepage now that we're logged in, and we have our nav bar that's appeared. Okay, so searching for Pokemon Go. So immediately we're doing a querying the database, and we're getting that Ralph Upton. If we have more time, we would be rendering these user photos as well. But for the time being, you can view profile of Ralph Upton. Here he is. He's less than 2 miles away. About interest and age, a dummy user, obviously. And then if you click on contact, you can send him an email. With more time, we would love to implement a chat functionality, which would belong in the nav bar, which you could navigate to, and then you could more easily meet up with people.
So for the front end side of things, we planned everything out using Figma for the design, and we use React to implement that. In Figma, it was good for us to lay everything out, and it was easy to collaborate together, and it really laid out what we were going to do further down the line, so we were all on the same page. And then for the actual front end and building it out, we chose to use React. One, because we've got experience using it, and it is quite like the industry standard. So I think it is just good to get a better understanding and a bit more mileage out of it. There's a lot of good documentation online, and if you're ever stuck, it was quite easy to find something that would give us some kind of solution, or we could find enough solutions to hack something together.
So for the backend, we considered using SQLize and MySQL and like building out ourselves a node, but then we were introduced to this cool new tool called Firebase, and we thought it'd be fun to like learn something new and at the same time simplify our task, or that's what we hoped. And there are some pretty good docs, and there are some pretty good like resources out there about how to use Firebase with React. So we settled on using Firebase and kind of not really having too much of a backend and just using Google Firebase's convenient functions. So the services we used from Firebase were their Firestore database, their authentication, and the storage bucket. The storage bucket is where the users' images go when they upload them. The authentication, which has their email and password, and the Firestore database has all of their profile data, which is linked to the rest of their stuff with their unique identifier. And yeah, there are some pretty straightforward functions provided by Google to access that, retrieve data from that. create users, etc.
So in terms of working together as a team, our development practices, to illustrate, we have the wonderful photo from the 1995 film Hackers, which I previously mentioned. They're a great team, as were we, and we did a lot of just collaborative work together. Originally, we decided that me and Robin were going to look after the front end and Anna was going to do the back end. As we ended up using Firebase, which took care of a lot of the back end for us. Me and Robin started on the front end. We did the design of the website using Figma. But then we really came together and sort of all worked collaboratively and did most of it together using our friend Zoom, who we're all very sick of by now. And also Notion, just great for sharing notes and just resources. And Trello was really, really useful just for making little jobs and deciding who was going to do what, and also just marking in terms of urgency with different colors. So color-coded notes and doing done, and just made it super, super simple and easy to actually see what we had left to do, and also just how much we'd done and how much we'd achieved. It was really great. And Slack as always, just for, you know, just for memes and just extra communication. So in terms of problems, we had a few. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the app architecture. At first, as it was the sort of the first app that I'd ever properly worked on, I had a lot of just questions about how we were going to, and we had sort of quite a few different pages and elements to the app, how we were going to actually design the architecture, how it was going to be structured, where the state was going to live, and how we were going to pass everything. Does routing belong in just one file, or is a central file, or can you spread it throughout the app? So just a lot of big questions about how to actually structure a multi-page and app and how that would actually work. And what was really helpful was drawing it out in a line drawing and actually just having making a big diagram to actually see it visually, and then it was a lot easier.
Yeah, so Hal mentioned routing. This later again came up as a problem. Well, actually, when we tried to do a redirect, okay, I'm going to just show you little bits of code just to try and make it a bit clearer. When we wanted to add in this redirect, so if there is a current user, if someone is logged in, just go to home, don't show the login page, otherwise show the login page. So this is just adding in this very simple, innocent looking line of code caused the app to completely crash, and it was due to React re-rendering too many times, which was confusing because we hadn't changed anything to do with state. We weren't setting state, but we were, I guess, referring to a piece of state that ended up being a problem. And with the help of Mo, who like really helped us with this problem, we debugged and we hunted, and we found that we, in our auth context, which wraps everything and deals with storing the user in state, was setting the user every time the auth state changed. So every time someone logged in or logged out, the user was getting set. And we did not have this if conditional here. So it was just setting the user, but it was also listening for when the current user changed and then running this again. So someone like logged out and we set the user, and then it's like, oh, it changed, let's run it again. Oh, it changed, let's run it again. That seems to be what was happening. I don't know why this wasn't a problem before we were doing the kind of conditional redirect. Yeah, some that's a gap in my knowledge, but yeah, so after debugging we figured it out, and we just changed it so that set current user to null happens with logout, and with this if conditional that only runs this if there is a user, stopped that re-rendering nightmare.
Personally, I faced a bit of a world of hell of CSS. We sort of, like I said before, we laid everything out, so we had an idea of what we wanted to do, and then just putting that into execution came with its own little flaws. Majoritively, it went kind of smooth in parts, but then we had like things that I don't think we'd implemented before, and it sounds simple. It's like just putting a footer in, and then you think you've got everything in line, you're using like Flexbox and you've got containers and everything, and it's all working nice. And then you resize something and the footer goes from like here to here and like just doesn't have a fixed abode. So I know it sounds silly, but that's something that was winding us up for a few days. And I think eventually ended up solving it by going into like the index CSS, or like the overall scope of the CSS, and then applying a flexbox to the whole page layout, which then in turn gave it a fixed area for header, footer, and like navigation area.
So a huge thank you to Manchester Codes for giving us so much new knowledge to make this project possible. I personally learned so much and have loved my experience collaborating with Robin and Anna. Just sort of everything we learned on the course sort of came together, connecting this sort of new Firebase backend with CSS to sort of populating a database with dummy users. It sort of made it real, and the fact that it was our project as well made it super creative and fun.
Yeah, I want to say thank you, Manchester Codes, as well, of course. Like Hal said, everything we learned on the course enabled us to do this project and more, probably. Specifically doing this project taught me something about auth, just kind of an introduction, but email password auth definitely, and how to use the context hook to create an auth provider in a React app, and like protect pages that can only be viewed if you're logged in. That was like a key thing that I learned from this. Just generally getting to know React a little bit more, and also importantly, like working in a team and collaborating with Hal and Robin. Like I also really enjoyed that aspect.
Probably gonna say something very similar. Thank you, Manchester Codes. It's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed working in a group project. I think it's opened up my way of looking at things and addressed some of my problem solving techniques. And I'd say there's a few things in specifically on this project in terms of like learning how to use geolocations. And I think the name and everything at first sounds more intimidating. The actual execution of it wasn't too difficult, but nonetheless, still really valuable to learn. Things like using Firebase and authorization and tokens, and yeah, the list can go on and on. And we would like to nominate a Employee of the Month award to Mo.
Thanks, Mo. Thanks for all your help.
Couldn't have done it without you.
Yeah.